So if you look behind me on this wall, it's my favorite Democrat ever. JFK was one of the best. However, I feel today my party, the Democrats, have abandoned me and my views. I am familiar with the walk-away movement. This is going to be my story, and I'll keep it brief, of how I've walked away from the Democrat Party. White liberals have gone insane. They've taken it too far. I feel like if that man was alive today, he would be considered by them as a far-right person. Since when is it a bad thing to be pro-gun, to be pro-Second Amendment, to be pro-people protecting themselves? I always thought for a long time that's what liberals stood for. Well, they're proving me wrong every day with every bad ideology that they push. Don't get me wrong, there are still good liberals. If Tulsi Gabbard, or Andrew Yang got their party's nomination and didn't have to deal with all the corruption and the corrupt politics from the media and all of these activists, I may have voted against Trump. I did not become a Republican until a few years ago, and I'm hesitant to say that because I am a very moderate Republican, almost leaning independent. However, over these 4 years, I've seen Trump deliver a good bit of victories for America, enough that I'm happy. He doesn't talk like politicians. That's a good thing. Not all of us are politicians in the real world. I'm a regular working class guy. I drive tractor trailers for a living. It's one of the most important jobs in America and a very honorable career and a great way to make a living. I feel that if the Democrats had their way with the Green New Deal and all of that, well, they would kill the trucking industry with crippling regulations because of diesel fuel, fossil fuels. Joe Biden said he wants to ban oil and go green. Well, my job depends on fossil fuels. Are you going to force trucking companies to buy electric trucks, which I am not against? I believe capitalism can handle that, that if Elon Musk can make a Tesla tractor trailer and it's affordable, I'm okay with that. But I cannot trust Joe Biden because I'm from Delaware too. Let me give you a little backstory about some of my family. My dad worked for a manufacturing company called NVF, National Vulcanized Fiber. Not too far in the Delaware Valley, in Delaware, from where Joe Biden's multi-million-dollar mansion is. So when he says he's from Claymont, well, my dad's from Claymont, grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment, a real shithole, and he managed to get out of poverty. When he worked at NVF, Joe Biden and the Democrats, and even some Republicans, supported NAFTA, which shipped those jobs away. My dad left NVF. He also worked at a place called Phoenix Steel, manufacturing the greatest steel in the world, American steel. My dad got laid off from there when they closed and went to China or wherever else they took their business. My sister worked at General Motors. Used to be a very thriving industry. By the way, when I buy cars, I buy American. I do not buy Toyotas or Kias. Not saying they're bad cars, but I believe in investing in this country. Something the Democrats have lost. My sister worked there maybe about a year, and then the plant closed their doors and went elsewhere to manufacture. My aunt worked for MB&A, a very big bank in Delaware. Once again, bad policies from Joe Biden as a senator. They closed their doors. I watched my aunt and my uncle lose their home and lose their quality of life for a while. I have fully walked away from the Democrat Party. Now, if they would change their tune and be more willing to work with President Trump, be willing to help the average American, you could potentially get my vote back. I also do not like this woke ideology. It is ridiculous. I believe it's cancerous to our culture. I do not like watching the news when they sit up there and say a certain race of people is bad, hence straight white men, but this race is good. These are the evil people. These are the good people. That's not okay. I take offense to that. Also, many white liberals are racist. I cannot handle it where they're expecting minority communities to vote Democrat. They are free to vote independent and Republican too if they want. But it's become so polarized and divisive. So, 2017, when Trump started doing better things, started focusing more on what's going on with China, focused on many other issues as well, wanting peace in the Middle East, talking about getting us out of there, going against the generals, that's very respectable. He doesn't talk like a politician. At times he can be funny, at times he can be crude, and sometimes he can be very serious. He's also the only president that stepped foot in North Korea. That was a great thing for diplomacy. I know that the media likes to bash Trump's character, specifically the left-leaning ones. But this has been a president of diplomacy, in my opinion. He's been more willing to talk with people who the Democrats have said are America's enemies. Because when you talk, you're not going to war, you're not firing bullets at each other, you're not dropping bombs. I used to like Obama when he was in office. It's no secret. I voted for him the first time around. What I didn't vote for with Obama was 7 wars, which is the reality. Now Trump is in, and Trump is doing his best to clean up the mess of generations of politicians. I don't like George Bush. I believe he was a cancer. Same with Bill Clinton. And I do not believe that Joe Biden should be able to hold the levers of power and be the commander-in-chief. And if you don't believe me, go to Wilmington, Delaware, and take a ride down the east side, Riverside, and see how economically depressed it is because of Joe Biden's policies and many of the Democrats. As a matter of fact, I wish my state would turn red. I don't think it will, or even independent. I would be more comfortable with that. So since then, I have thought about moving to Florida. That's my walk-away story.